Welcome to The Phil Factor. I am Sunny, and this is Phil Sheldon.
Hello.
Phil Sheldon is a family attorney as well as a personal injury attorney, but Phil likes to say that personal injury law and family law are one and the same.
On occasion, that's true.
Yes.
Sure.
So today we want to talk about process surveys. So do you feel that when somebody comes to their spouse to serve them a divorce, it's probably one of the more difficult parts of the divorce process?
Sure. Well, of course, you file for divorce. You pay the filing fee. You get a summons. You get a petition for dissolution. If you have children, there's other forms that are required. And at that point in time, when it's filed with the court, you have to then serve that on the other party. It requires personal service.
So when you get a personal service, do you have to get a signature?
No.
Okay.
You have to have it served. It doesn't have to be a specialized process server per se. It has to be someone over 18 years of age.
Okay.
And historically, these process servers, it can be a sheriff, it can be a marshal, but historically, these services that do it are dressed plainly, so you don't know they're a process server. There's no reason to be afraid of it. A lot of people try to hide from the service of process because it is a lawsuit. It does say here's a summons. It does say you have 30 days in which to respond.
So Phil's going to tell us about a particular case where somebody did not want to get served a divorce. So their spouse was trying to serve them a divorce. So what happened, Phil?
Well, we tried to serve her a few times, and when they went to the door, you could see her peeking out of the window, but she didn't want to come to the door and she knew there was a divorce that was pending, but she didn't want to get served with this process and have to hire a lawyer possibly and respond within 30 days. Finally, February 14th came around, which most people know what day that is. So the process server, I won't say it was at my direction, but it was, went to the front door with a bouquet of flowers and knocked on the door and said, "Hi, are you Mrs. Jones?" She came running to the door when she opened up the curtain and saw the flowers. "Yes, I am." He said, "Okay, this is for you." And he handed her the paperwork and he left with the flowers, which was sad because the instructions were at least give her the flowers at the same time. But she was served and
didn't get the flowers.
Never got the flowers either. And she did well enough in the divorce. And sometimes when they try to serve process, they may just leave it in a mailbox, which isn't personal service, or throw it on the ground, which isn't personal service. And people will complain, "Hey, I wasn't personally served. That's not good." You got it. Your only option is to file what's called a motion to quash that service. And when you or your lawyer go to court, they can then hand you that paperwork then and there. It's a 3-step process. In other words, the first step is the termination of the marital status, which is going to happen. California is a no-fault state. They don't care that you were fooling around or you had a gambling problem, a drug problem. Sometimes stepchildren, believe it or not, are an issue because they may misbehave and you can't spank them because the other parent doesn't appreciate that.
Right.
So you can't really discipline. So hostile stepchildren, if you will, is another reason. And of course, money, spending money, gambling, etc. Lots of reasons to get a divorce.
Right.
My motto is life is short, divorce. Well, at least in my case. But however, I don't recommend that forever. There is in California a 6-month waiting period, however. So it's a cooling off period. California believes that this is a chance to try and reconcile. I can tell you in 30 years it happened once in my practice.
Wow.
So that's the deal. The second part of the process is we need some temporary relief. People think, well, filed for divorce, he or she has to pay me child and spousal support right away. Not unless you go to court. Nothing magically happens. There's no onus upon you to pay that support unless there's a court order to that effect. Frequently, when we file a petition for divorce, we also file what's called an RFO in California, request for order, and 6 to 8 weeks later, there's a hearing on child support, spousal support, who gets to use the car, who gets to stay in the house. You need what's called pendente lite, fancy word of pending litigation, temporary orders so that things can proceed naturally with your life. There'd be some order to your life. If you just have an agreement amongst yourselves, for example, for child custody and somebody doesn't come one weekend, you have no way of enforcing that if there's no order.
Right.
And you can only have that kind of thing by stipulation, meaning both parties agree to it and the judge signs off, or you go to court. But to say, hey, we're getting a divorce, you owe me child support, morally, yes, legally, no. Right. So that's why you have to file and get in front of a judge. And then finally, the third part of the divorce is who gets the stuff. That's when you divide up the furniture, the pension plans, Maybe you have to sell a house to buy the other party out. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but those are the three basic
What
steps.
is that called? The third step?
Going towards final judgment.
Okay.
And final judgment is different than pendente lite, than temporary. For example, support is calculated in California on a program historically called the Disomaster. Mine's called ex-spouse. I kind of like the name of that one better. And it tells you what the support level should be. When you get to that third stage, and you're going to pay, in California, if you've been married 10 years, you're going to pay support until he or she remarries or dies. That's spousal support.
So it's the dissolution of marriage, the RFO, and the final judgment, and it cannot begin this process without the
Correct.
the service process.
Correct.
Wow, makes you just want to run to the altar.
No, it doesn't. But it does make you want to call the law offices of Philip Sheldon in
Phil
Irvine.
Sheldon.
But yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming to watch our amazing Phil Sheldon tell you all about the 3 steps of divorce, all starting with a serve. You can follow us at Law Media Inc., Law Media Social. We also have a personal injury law firm at the LexingtonLawFirm.com. That's the LexingtonLawFirm.com. Phil Sheldon is a family attorney. He also does personal injury law firm as well.
My office is located in Irvine, California, 2601 Main Street, Suite 320 in Irvine, and my phone number is 949-250-0188. My website is psheldonlaw.com.
Thanks again.